If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Hello, and welcome to Challenge Talk, part of the Geocache Talk Network. You can watch the show live on the first Sunday of each month. Feel free to jump on over to YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter to watch the broadcast live and join the wonderful and active chat room, or listen to the entire show later on your favorite podcast player.
In tonight's episode, we're going to review the Challenge Academy activities, both before and during CacheFest. We have some of our top point earners that are going to join us for the show.
Yes, I'm excited about that. We also have prizes to give away each show to our listeners. Between each show, be sure to email your Challenge Cache finds to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com, and you could be a winner.
And then later in the show, we'll also play our special game exclusively for the live audience, the Wheel of Challenges. So listen live, get your email app ready, and follow instructions when the time comes so you can have a chance at winning tonight's grand prize.
And at the end of the show, we'll highlight some of the challenge caches you found, and someone will win our coveted monthly giveaway. So hi, Tim. How are you?
Hi, I'm great, Emily. It's fun to be back. Another month has passed, and here we are.
And here we are, and I'm glad to be here. I'm excited about tonight's show and our guests.
Me too.
So how has your geocaching month been?
Well, July was really pretty good. I have to say that CacheFest Memphis was a blast. A little bit of disappointment, and I guess I'm going to get that out of the way right away, because last month's show, I did something I've never done before, which is kind of made a public offering to share my hotel room with someone.
Right.
And so that was pretty scary on a personal level. And I did have someone that reached out to me and said, yeah, I would be interested. And we talked, we learned about each other, and then he didn't show up. And then on the way home, I learned that we were missing a geocacher. And I didn't know who it was until his sister reached out to me and said, you were going to this cache on the way down, and so was my brother. Do you know if he ever signed in on the log? And I knew that he hadn't, because we had talked about meeting at that cache. And so, unfortunately, a lot of people do know what happened to Blazon and Robert Owens, but he was the one that was intending to stay with me. So I wanted to wrap up some rumor and innuendo, which was last week. The coroner's office in Louisiana definitely positively identified Robert as passing away on the trail. The actual cause of death was not determined. There was too much decomposition in the body, so they couldn't. But they did rule out foul play, which I think is excellent for the area, for the geocache, that it wasn't a problem. It wasn't animal related. It appeared to be heat. And I've heard some podcasts talking about, when you go on a long adventure, make sure you take your backpack and you take this and you take this. Well, it was 0.85 on a straight line from the parking to the cache and back. I can tell you that I wouldn't have taken a backpack. I might have taken a water bottle. Probably not. 1.5 miles, 2 miles, that's an easy walk. Except that when you add 100-degree heat or more, it can really be bad. And the the detective down in Louisiana that I talked to was talking about how Louisianans are having a lot of trouble with the heat. And talking with Tom Brotherman in Texas, the heat is bad. So whether it's a short hike, a long hike, be careful. But that's the end of the story on Robert. There's a memorial in the cache, which I think is fantastic.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, I'm sorry we lost a cacher, and that's my personal relationship with him.
Right.
But after CacheFest, I went to Midwest GeoBish.
Oh yeah, so many people did.
Yeah, so yeah, it was great to have 2 megas back to back, and I saw so many people at Midwest GeoBash. I got to meet Starcacher in person.
Oh, great.
So that was kind of fun. And I had a couple people play our challenge game from CacheFest. And if you remember, what we had talked about was if you see Emily or I outside of the Saturday event and you gave up the secret phrase, we had something for you. Yeah, like right down there, right over there. So I had to get the right one. I had some people come up to me and say challenge accepted, and I'm like,
oh,
and they were surprised, and so
well, I have to say it was very fun at CacheFest to have someone run straight up to me and said, "I've been looking for you. Challenge accepted." I loved it. I love it.
Yeah. So we have a limited supply of buttons. We have a limited supply of stickers, and we do have some path tags left from CacheFest. And so if you see us out and about in the community at an event, between now and until we run out, just remember that it's challenge something.
Accepted.
Or completed. And we'll take that. I also got a new challenge trail down in Ohio, which was great. It's the EGG trail, and it kind of runs along I-80. It bounces back and forth. You can't get it from I-80, but it bounces back and forth over the expressway, and there's 27 new challenge caches there. So we were able to get those while we were in Wauseon, Ohio.
Oh, great.
So,
we
how
had
about you?
several. Yeah. Well, first we had several
Okay.
people send in their submissions for ECC challenge caches this month. So I think a number of you listeners were doing ECC while you were in that area. So that's pretty cool. Well, yeah, so CacheFest was great. I really enjoyed it. As always, I think one of my favorite parts is getting together with the community, seeing old and new friends. And so that was just a lot of fun. We'll touch on it a little bit, but there were new challenges hidden in the Memphis area. And so I've been having fun even afterwards, figuring out which ones I qualified for and what work I still have to do. One challenge I mentioned, my goal was to get a certain number of caches in Shelby County outside of lab caches, because Derek hid the find 100 caches in Shelby County last year. And so my goal, because who knows if I'm going back there, because, CacheFest is Oklahoma next year, was to get that number of caches. So I was obsessively counting my caches all week long, getting mixed up by signing challenge logs, but not qualifying. So just having to do all that calculation all week long. After doing my best to get to my 10,000th and then doing my best to get to 100 cache, I'm so done with counting numbers. I'm ready to just cache for some fun and meet other challenges. But on my way home, I spent 2 days in Utah with my family. And the day after we got home, I was so proud of my mom. I woke up and met her and in the living room, and she's like, "Hey, I've been looking and I need just one Where I Go. I think it was the 10 by 10 challenge. I found a Where I Go. We should add that to our day." And I was like, yes, my mom is planning her challenges. Mom, I'm very proud of you. That Steelers chick, Mom, you're the best. Thanks for coming on my journeys with me. And I'm glad that you've caught some fever.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's a good month.
Absolutely.
So then let's go into some other news, which the Wheel of Challenges just spun. And actually for us, it's kind of cool because it starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we've been able to lead into the Wheel of Challenges as opposed to picking it up midstream.
So this is the HQ's official souvenir challenge of the summer-ish. in the northern hemisphere. Yeah, and so if you streaked, if you didn't finish by today, I guess that's that. But yeah, tomorrow starts the new challenge. We have 2 souvenirs. Sometimes it's been 3, sometimes it's been 2, but this time it is 2. And Tim, it's kind of interesting. They are prescribing types of icons you have to get. So it's not a free for all. You can't just pick and choose your icons. You have to get what's on their list.
And I know that some people are upset with that. I was kind of one of them because I have to go at least 80 miles to get to a virtual cache.
Yeah.
At one point in time, I had all of the mainland caches of Michigan complete. So if it wasn't for Virtual Reward 3.0, I would have nothing to find.
Right.
So, but you do have to, for the easy challenge, you have to find one traditional, one Adventure Lab location, and one event. That to me sounds pretty easy. So in fact, I've got 3 events coming up that I looked at for the next month. So, but again, I have no Adventure Labs within 35 miles. I have an event coming up the 19th of September. It's our MyGo summer picnic at Sleepy Hollow State Park. And I do know a friend is going to release a lab that day. So I'm looking forward to that. So
Good
the hard souvenir, it builds on that. You have to get 5 more cache types. The virtual is there, an earth cache, a multi, a mystery, and a letterbox. And letterbox is not a real popular cache hide in this area.
No, not this area either. So either do a lot of planning or do your community some good and hide some new types to help out with this month's challenge.
Yeah, there we go. So it should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, as far as this month goes, I looked at the stats this morning, and there are now 38,175 challenge caches, actually caches with the challenge cache attribute in the world. So we added another 406 this past month. So let's go challenge.
That's right. Very good. Well, should we get to our guests?
I think we should.
All right. Let's welcome the geocaching ninja and BnJBish. Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Welcome.
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So we wanted to have these special guests on because of CacheFest in Memphis and Challenge Academy. And these 2 groups, these 2 geocaching accounts are 2 of our 8 top earners. And so you heard us talk all about our pre-event challenge, and that pre-event challenge, if you followed along, there were all kinds of rivers and things you could do and things to accomplish. And if you did everything, you could earn 70 points. And these are 2 of our 8 teams who earned 70 points max, which means you guys worked your butt off for 2.5 months and had a lot of fun, and we're here to hear about it. So,
well, maybe they had a lot of fun. Let's hear from them.
Oh yeah, you guys don't have to tell us if you had a lot of fun. We had fun watching you.
Well, and let's actually step back for a minute.
Sure, let's do that.
And I'll pick on Logan to start. So, Logan, most of our audience doesn't know who you are. I don't know a lot about who you are. Tell us who you are and how long you've been geocaching and why you do this crazy stuff.
All right, so first, I'm Logan. I'm the geocaching ninja. The name comes from, so I've been, if anybody's seen the show Ninja Warrior before, it's been on TV for about 15 years. I started watching that when I was about 8, and I fell in love with the sport. So I've been doing Ninja Warrior for about 10 years now.
Wow.
So I decided to put that right into my account as a geocaching ninja. I compete worldwide. The farthest I've traveled is like Michigan, Massachusetts. I just went to North Carolina a couple months ago for the World Ninja League Championships. I placed 23rd overall there.
Amazing.
Wow, congratulations.
I train, I work at a Ninja Warrior facility, so I'm constantly training here. But that's the background of my story, and I love it.
Cool. And how long have you been geocaching?
So I started geocaching 2 months from when the pandemic started.
Oh
So
my.
it's been like a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And what excites you about challenges?
So for me, I'm honestly not much of a challenge cacher. Like I only have about 15 challenges that I have found.
Mhm.
I'm more of just like go out, find whatever ones that are in the area. But like a couple of them like interest me and I'll like work towards it. Like I did like the Ironman 30-day challenge and I've done a couple tree climb challenges. But I'm really like a more just whatever's in the area I'll get.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Hold on to that. We'll come back to that.
And we have a
Eh,
very important question in the chat. Dire Wolf
We are
asked, are the
not
Pizza
related.
Ninja and the Geocaching Ninja related?
We are super close. We are both in Western New York, but we aren't related.
All right. Very, very important. Do you like pizza?
I do love pizza.
Okay, good. Very good.
Well, maybe you can pick up the Pizza Ninja on his way to Ohio when we do the pizza trail.
All right.
Okay. Good to know. All right. And then our other guest is Team BnJBish.
That's
Brad
us.
and Jen.
Hi.
That's you guys. So introduce yourselves, please.
So Brad and Jen Bishop, we've been caching almost 11 years. International Caching Day will actually be our anniversary date for caching.
Great.
We decided, hey, we're not getting any younger. Let's get off the couch and sort of headed out into the world to go treasure hunting.
Yes.
We've done all 50 states, cached every county in Florida, and just seemed to start setting challenges for ourselves until we realized that challenge caches were a thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they sort of kind of fell into our lap, and we just keep on trucking through them.
That's awesome. What a good
Nice.
story. So you guys have been dedicated.
Yeah, we're actually pretty casual for the most part when it comes to caching. We've been caching almost 11 years now and have just barely hit 3,000 finds. But
3,200 and change.
well, 3,200 thanks to
Okay.
challenge.
But who's counting, right?
Who's counting? But every now and then we'll get these wild hairs where it's like, okay, we need something to kind of reinvigorate us. Let's drive to Key Largo and get key lime pie and hit every county between Orlando and the Keys. Or
So can I
something
make
on
the
a random
assumption you guys
Tuesday.
are in Florida then?
We are, yeah, we're in Orlando.
Orlando. Okay.
All right. I love it. And I think that's fabulous about geocaching. You know, you can reinvigorate yourself at any time with geocaching. Whatever strikes you, it's there. It's waiting for you.
So let's go back to Logan. Tell us about your CacheFest experience. What'd you like? What you didn't like? Why did you go after the challenge trail?
So it was amazing. First off, what brought me to CacheFest Memphis was the vault with all the keys.
Oh,
I ended up being the finder for key number 6. So once I found that, I started researching more into the event. And since I found it, I'm like, now I have to go. Let's see what else the event has to offer. So I found like the Geo Trail, all of that. When I started Geo Trail, like I said, I'm like a casual geocacher. I'll get like the geocaches in the area and all that. So for like the first month and a half, I kind of just casually led my way to. I was tracking because a couple of the parts in the trail were like DTs, calendar months, all of that. So I was just tracking that down on like a notepad or like a Word table document. And I didn't really have to work much into the geo trails until roughly 10 days before the event, when I realized I needed still like 200 more finds. I needed like 20 more calendar months. So that's when I actually had to start planning out what caches I had to get like on the way down and all that.
Oh, wow. Cool. Well, congratulations on your accomplishment. I mean, I threw the challenge out there that anybody who could beat or exceed my number could get a special prize. And I'm a challenge aholic. So I had to get all the points. And so you guys came up and tied me, which was just fantastic. So Brad, Jen, what did you think? Why did you go after this?
Well, I have to start by saying Memphis is our hometown. We both grew up there, and seeing a mega pop up in our hometown was a perfect excuse to take a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And having CacheFest there 2 years in a row, we really didn't participate much in the challenges the first year. We were a little late to the party. But this year we were like, whatever you throw at us, we're tackling it because
Yes.
and with the wheel of challenges, we sort of just kind of rolled it all into one big weird handwritten spreadsheet that this guy completely organized. I just drove the car.
Good job, Brad.
Thanks. OCD wins.
All right.
So was it fun?
Parts of it.
Should
There
we
was
start
fun.
with what was not fun? Why was it not fun?
Some days became a bit of a grind when you're working full time and you're just trying to figure out a way to coordinate time to go caching together. Like that got a little stressful, but hey, let's go do this multi-cache power trail and knock out 50 in a day. Cool. I'm tired.
That one of the challenges?
But for the most part, it was a good time.
Good.
Personally, I really enjoyed the photo challenges. So there was definitely something for both of us to really latch onto.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, for the photos, I know the 0 was one of the things we had to do. So we found a fun one for 2,800 and then ended up with over 3,200 finds after we got done with CacheFest.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
So,
And Logan, you said that the photos helped you with the other rivers.
Yes. So like I would look at like a certain photo and say like it was one of them was like a cache at a hilltop or overlook. So that's naturally going to be like a higher terrain. So that would help with like the DT grids, like the kayak one, geocaching over a river, stuff like that. That helped with like some of the DT grids there.
Awesome. Cool. Did you have any not fun moments?
I would say just one. I had to go for a certain DT. It was like a 1 difficulty 4 terrain. It was probably about like 30 minutes off the highway heading to Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the closest one. So I went for it. It's about like a half-mile walk into the woods, came back out, no problem, found it immediately. Problem was the next hour while we were driving to Memphis, I noted something crawling on my leg. And there was hundreds of seed ticks.
Hundreds?
Oh, hundreds?
I spent the next hour with a lint roller, just getting my socks, shorts, everything.
Oh.
And I was getting dozens each time I would swipe with the lint roller.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Now you
I was
came
probably-
down with your
Always
dad,
thinking
right?
about that. Oof.
It was good after like the whole hour, but yeah, I'm glad
And
I got
then
that
we
cache
gave
over
you
there.
Yeah, and then we gave you a pat tag. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. Here's a backpack.
Good job.
But you came down with your
Oh.
dad, right? So was he
Yeah.
driving? So that
He
you
was
could do
driving.
one-
And what the thing was, like, I was using a lint roller and getting them all off. I handed him it. He didn't have a single one on him.
Isn't it crazy how that happens sometimes?
Wow.
Yeah.
And you guys went together.
Yes.
Okay.
Took the same trail to it and everything.
Wow.
Wow. So here's a little tidbit that I learned from my friend David down in Memphis. He said, if you get the small flea and tick collar for a dog, and you
Mhm.
put one on each ankle, it will repel the ticks.
Oh.
Now, I did not try that.
Is this
so-
safe for humans?
Well, maybe you put it around a dog's neck.
True. True.
So that might help.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I'm looking forward to trying it. We have ticks here in Michigan too, and usually I'm the guy that can find one or two along the way.
as opposed to 1 or 200. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And the problem with that, they're just so small that you don't even see them. Like up here in like New York, they're big. You can just flick them right off. And
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was, to either of you, what was your most favorite thing about CacheFest?
I would say the key. Just like the experience of like, it almost feels like if you watch a show, Amazing Race. Like once you figure out the puzzle, you're like racing there,
The
hoping
race
to be like
is
the first to
on.
find.
Yeah. Good. And then you had the whole anticipation of, will my key work? And Jen and Brad, you guys had a number of keys, right?
We did a lot of networking for the vault keys. Being down in Florida, we were so far removed from where they all seemed to be going that I took a different approach. I started joining all of the Facebook groups for the regions where I thought a key was, and saying, hey, you live about 5 minutes from this thing. Would you go do the thing for me? It worked out in getting most of those. I did have one that kind of went rogue. UPS shipped it back and forth from Detroit to Orlando about 4 times. And it wound up delivering to my house while I was in Memphis. My house was not in Memphis. So it wouldn't have worked anyway. That's neither here nor there, but it was.
Right.
Yeah, I guess the good news is that we know that it wouldn't have worked, but still, that was a horrendous story. I've never heard one where UPS had so much trouble just delivering a simple little package.
I'm going to turn it into a trackable, whose sole mission will be just to travel back and forth from Detroit to Orlando.
Yes.
Until the end of time. So it'll do what it'll do.
That's
All
right.
right.
That's right. Did you both got the chance to turn your keys in the vault?
Yes.
Until we got our winner. Yeah. All right. Well, at least you got to turn your key as well.
Yeah.
As part of the whole experience. Good.
Yeah, that was fun. One of the other things that we did that was kind of unusual this year at CacheFest is I got a message from the organizing team early, and they said, do you guys have any ideas for challenges that we can put out? And I was like, sure. You want the whole spreadsheet? And so I sent the spreadsheet to the team, and I said, some of these are pre-moratorium and some are post-moratorium. I haven't gone through to see which ones can work and which ones can't, but have fun with it. And so obviously they put out 20 new challenge caches in the Memphis area. And I think that helped with the 20 there, and the 30 or so in Ohio gave us a good start to that 400 for the month that increased on us. So did you guys find any of those, or were you mostly just enjoying the event?
We found a couple of them for the on-site challenge sheet, so that we could get that filled in and get that extra pat tag.
Yeah.
One night we realized we were 1 short or 2 short, and went out in our pajamas to a parking lot.
Yes, of course. Why not?
Cool. And Logan, you were saying?
So I looked at all the ones I had qualified for, which I think was like 3, 4, or 5, and I went out and found the ones that I did qualify for.
All right, good. Yeah, I was excited to see those. I wanted to get my name on all of them, and I was thinking I only qualified for maybe about 30%, but I qualified for almost 50% of them. So, and some of them I'm very, very close, and some of them I know I am so incredibly far away from, but that's the fun of it. Last night I went through my phone and I filled in every date that I need a non-traditional cache find on, and it might take me years, and if I don't get it, I'll just schedule it again for next year, and we'll just see how it happens. Yeah,
keep going. Yeah, Tom Brotherman and I went out and found a bunch of them, and I signed them all. And I still haven't looked to see how many I qualified for. I've been too busy lately.
Oh, good. Busy, I think I've heard you say.
Yeah.
Good.
With Memphis and my grandson now, and we got to go visit him today. And so that was awesome.
Tom is asking, did BnJBish even sleep at CacheFest?
we did sleep, but we didn't eat.
Except for that one pizza I had with you. That was a fabulous
That was
pizza.
it. That was all the food. There's a picture of us floating around in the main event space where all the vendors were. After the entire room had been emptied out and we had finally gotten food from the food truck, everything was scheduled so tight throughout the day that we couldn't get out there to get anything to eat. So we would run into the VIP lounge eating like pretzels and stuff. And finally, at the end of the day, finally got food and there was nobody around. Like, everybody was gone. It was just us sitting there eating Chinese food by ourselves.
All right. I'm glad you got a meal somewhere in that week.
But having pizza with you and with your mom, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fabulous pizza. And it was at that parlor by the escape room where the owner's a geocacher. So that just made it even better. Yeah, good.
Oh, fun.
Well, you guys mentioned the week of challenge. Before we pop over to that, do you, Jen, I've made you tell this story. I guess I'll make you tell it again. I love your ride a bike to a cache photo for the scavenger hunt. Will you tell that for us?
So we don't own a bike. I don't think that I've had a bike in the last 10 or 15 years. So I did a shout out on the local Buy Nothing Facebook group. Hey, I need a bike. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just need a bike. And this woman gladly gave up this ancient Schwinn that's rusted and the seat's way too high and very uncomfortable and barely moves. And we picked it up in our Prius, drove it to a parking lot, sat on it while barely rolled up to the lamppost. Poor Brad. He's the only one that could fit on it because the seat was so high. But we have a picture of him on a bike, finding a cache, and he technically rode to it, even if he only rode about 6 inches.
Yes, you did it. You got creative to meet the challenge. And we really appreciate everyone's creativity. You know, people were asking us all kinds of, will you accept? Will you accept? And you know what? It meant you guys were thinking about it and accepting the challenge. So we are all about that. Logan, did you have any interesting photo opportunities?
With my bike, I'll just say that I didn't have any brakes in the front or the back.
Ooh.
That makes things challenging.
So if I rode about like half a mile to one and just used my feet in the grass and
all right. Commitment. I like it.
So what would you like to see different in the challenges for next year? Let's break them into the two categories. The while you're at CacheFest and then leading up to CacheFest. Start with leading up to CacheFest. What would you like to see ideally?
I know you have some opinions.
I think it was a good round set of challenges that was attainable by anyone that put their effort forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's very diplomatic.
That is diplomatic.
Yeah, hey, come on. We're looking for the juicy stuff here.
We're here for the feedback. We'll take it. And, you know, anyone who's listening to, we'll take your feedback because this is a challenge for the community and we don't want to frustrate you. We want to give you an attainable challenge that's fun with a challenge.
Right. That's the goal. I mean, to reach for something is also important, but we want you to have fun while you're doing it. Logan, how about you?
So like everything was super attainable for me based on how I geocached, and I was able to qualify for, I would say, like 75% of all of them just through my normal geocaching, all the way up to how I said, like the 10 days before we had to start planning. But I like all the calendar months, like the 50 finds in 2 months, all the DTs that can stay the same, changing up the pictures, making you travel to like new places.
Okay.
Getting like creative with it.
Well, and I know Dire Wolf asked this question. He's asked a couple of good ones. Is if a terrain 5 is really a T1 for you? So.
Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've climbed bridges for people, climbed trees, poles.
Oh, so we can hire you out if we need that T5 challenge?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Good to know. Western New York.
Yeah.
Take note.
Well, maybe we'll import them into Michigan. And then Dire Wolf said, yeah, probably need to talk to people who had a hard time with the challenges.
Yeah. And we do
want
to hear from you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously don't have any of those on the show tonight. Sorry. But definitely that's the reason we want the feedback to come in is what did you like? What did you not? And here's one from the Pizza Ninja that your LPC was. Oh, is that where you were climbing up, weren't you, on the LPC? You scaled up.
It was a geocache by the ASB event that it was right in a parking lot, and there was like probably about like 100 geocachers who saw me climbing up and down a pole.
Very fun.
All to get a picture for the challenge.
That was a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
Very fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. So also throughout the week, we had 2 more challenges for everyone who attended. You know, the pre-event, you almost had to be in the know to do it or learn about it CacheFest week and see if you could meet the challenge in any way. But then we had these 2 other challenges, a bingo challenge, which is pretty easy. It's very fun. And you, BnJBish, you guys were kind of a celebrity for the bingo card because we made the bingo card all about challenge talk. We're, trying to get people to be aware of challenge talk if they aren't already. And there was a square for someone who has faced off against the wheel of challenges, which meant here on our show. And you guys were one of 3 teams in attendance who could sign that box. So once I figured that out and I started spreading the news, I hope that didn't inundate you too much. I hope that didn't keep you from a meal at CacheFest.
There were bingo cards that we had to go back and scratch our name off and sign in that square.
Mine was one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was information we didn't receive early, but bingo cards we saw almost immediately. Oh, yeah, I can sign that.
Yeah, we figured that out at the, Thursday morning escape room event.
And so then we had to track down one of the other 2 people to sign our bingo card.
Exactly.
Right.
So we had an even harder time than others.
Yeah. So you guys, Bloody Cool and Peachy 1276 were the only 3 in attendance who could sign that square. And then our other challenge, it was kind of like a fill in the blanks. Tell us what you did. We're going to believe you. We don't have time to track everything you've done, but we gave a 4th a challenge such as get this many difficulty and terrain stars, find this many traditionals, find this many different icons the week of. So any thoughts on that event week of challenge?
I feel like the way I cache, I would like it a lot more harder.
I kind of felt that way. I was filling my mom's out. Yeah, my mom was sleeping and I was filling hers out for her because I'm that obsessed. I'm like, I'm not even qualifying for this and I'm going to make my mom qualify for this. So yeah, as I was filling it out, I was like, oh, wow, we finished this in one day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, last year we did an adventure where you had to kind of tour around the Shelby Farms facility.
Right, to help you
answer questions, do the adventure, and basically you would get the qualification. And so we didn't really want to take an adventure out of the pool again and do that. So for me, I guess I'll take the blame or take the credit for it that I put that challenge together. And I wanted it to be accomplishable on the Shelby Fairgrounds. Mm-hmm. So that you didn't have to leave the grounds in order to complete the challenge. And so, that's maybe why it was a little easier. If you got it, say on Wednesday night, you had Thursday, Friday before Saturday to get it. So, I mean, I'm definitely up for amping things up. We can make it harder.
I'm usually the one sitting back going, that's a little hard. And Tim's like, do it.
I liked that it was a little easier because we had coordinated so much for so long leading up to it. Because like I mentioned, it wasn't just the Challenge Academy. There was also the Wheel of Challenges that we were trying to incorporate through the entire process also. So there was a lot of days where I would look at Brad and just say, this feels like work. I don't want it to feel like work.
Yeah.
So I did like that it was a little easier week of.
Okay. Yeah, and TW Ryder put in, they appreciated it being easier. And so, yeah, I mean, again, we're trying to appeal to everybody, and everybody does challenges a little bit differently, and everybody is motivated a little differently. So,
Yeah.
again, as
And we don't
long
want to
as you had
turn
fun.
anyone off from challenges who might be new to challenges, new to mega events, new to the scene, new to challenges. We don't want them to take a look and go, never again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I thinking about a challenge? Yeah.
So we can do that. All right. That's great. Emily, do you want to run down the list of our other
Yeah, so
qualifiers?
we want to shout out to everybody, our Geo Rivers earners. And also I want to say, and then we'll get to this, you guys mentioned you were working towards the Wheel of Challenges. After we go through these names, we'll talk about what did these people do, and it was connected to our real life Wheel of Challenges. So to start, our top 8 top point earners at 70 points each. In addition to these guys, Reese 486, Jam 6100, Ubu, Poan, M Kettle, and Fly Guys Gal. So congratulations to all of you top earners. That was 8 of you. And then everyone else who participated in our Geo River. So our 2.5 months leading up to CacheFest, we had Peachy 1276, Bloody Cool, QQ Non-Rev, HD Atha, RJ Elder, K Blast, 6 Easy, Geo Geiger, Chihuahua K9 for me, NC Biscuit, Milson 71, Skippy Teddy, Bama 1986, BR 16, R Nordmark, EJK PBR, Racer 2814, Vulcan 64, Mix 6, Sci-Fun, Genovations, Soccer Kicks, Curious George 59, Paul Gracie, Doctor's Companion, Big Guy 14760, JNLA, Vorlon 40, D Needham, T Steeler, Queenie Scotts, and Bob Staff. So thank you, all of you who participated in our Geo Rivers. No matter how long, if you took the whole 2.5 months or if you got in it like week of CacheFest, we appreciate that you guys accepted the challenge. So thank you and congratulations on your hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dire Wolf asked about an adult and a kid version, and we actually did do a kid version this year. We had 2 challenges, if you will, in the package, in the registration package. One was a coloring contest, which unfortunately we didn't have any entries for, and the second was a scavenger hunt to find signal throughout the event, and we had 3 people do that. They were with I'm going to get it wrong, but I'm going to try to look back up here. Bama 1986. He brought along his grandkids, and they found signal, and so they qualified. So we did do adult and kid versions. We had some kid prizes, and while attendance was down this year from last year, as we do talk about CacheFest 24, I think that's one of the things that we definitely want to keep is something to have fun for the kids as well as something to have fun for the adults. So, yeah.
Yeah. So Wheel of Challenges, we like to bring our Wheel of Challenges into a real life attainable thing. And you guys were able to spin our Wheel of Challenges in 2 different ways. So as a point earner of at least 17 points, I think it was, you earned the chance to spin the Wheel of Challenges at our table in the vendor room. And how'd you guys do? Win or lose?
We won.
Woohoo!
I lost.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. And then in Challenge Academy, we randomly selected participants from the bingo challenge and the weekly challenge. And then we had some chaos with some stickers under the chairs. That was wild. It was dark. Then we decided to turn the lights on, and then we still couldn't find any. And finally they were found. You had to be there. So anyways, you guys both were able to spin the wheel at least once in Challenge Academy. More than once?
I think I did it like 3 times.
All right. Did you win? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
I think I won 2 out of the 3 times.
Okay, great.
We had one each, but then the sticker was under my chair, but it was a dark colored sticker, and I didn't think it was under my chair. I felt so silly.
Yeah, Tom thought the chair chaos was a lot of fun in the back
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
it didn't go quite as well as we had thought, but only because there wasn't as much. There wasn't as many people there, so we knew how many stickers
everyone
were out
had,
there,
like,
but
a
just
lot of
not where they
chairs
were.
each.
So
Yeah, a lot of chairs each were being checked.
Maybe use a brighter colored sticker next time.
All right, we'll take it.
okay, all right.
Maybe
Yeah.
turn the lights on, yeah.
Noted, yeah. I
All
had
right.
what I had. I had geocaching stickers that were green. And maybe I'll get the yellow ones next year.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad you guys got to spin a few times and win at least once. So congrats on that. So yeah, that's a lot of thoughts around CacheFest. Any other parting thoughts on your experiences with all the different challenges?
I know that it took a lot of work to organize it all, and we had a blast doing it. Like, there were some hard days, there were some less hard days, but all in all, it was a good time. So
Great.
thanks for putting in all the effort.
Yeah, of
It
course.
was well received.
It was a fantastic time, and I enjoyed all the effort you guys put into making the challenges.
Good. Well, I thank you very much. And we enjoyed that you guys participated, that everyone who did participate came to our table, interacted with us, told us about their experiences. So thank you to you all. And for all of you who participated in any one of those challenges, as well as just plain attended CacheFest, we sent out the information to add these badges to your geocaching profile if you desire. So if you think you should have gotten one of these badges or didn't see the information on how to put the event badge on your page, just let us know and we'll help you if you'd like to display those badges.
Yeah, I know that I put them on none. And, how about we go into our Wheel of Challenges?
Let's
Is it
play our
that time?
digital Wheel of Challenges. It is that time. All right. So one live viewer each month will be selected to face off against the wheel to have a chance to win the grand prize, which is a 1-year membership on Project GC. And we do ask that you limit yourself to 3 wins. To enter, send an email with a subject line. Oh, I'm trying to find this, guy, so you can see it. I'm struggling. Let's see here. There we go. Email challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com with spin me in the subject line, followed by your geocaching username in brackets, and answer this question. How many Geo Rivers top point earners kind of teams did we have at CacheFest?
Ooh,
Yes.
I don't know that I remember.
I said it. I tried to say it 4 times during
Did you?
the show. I did. I did.
Okay. I know it's more than 3 because we've got 3. Well, maybe there's 2 on the show.
Yeah, we're counting.
Right?
We're counting 2 on the show.
BnJBish. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We do have our first correct answer in our email from ZipperTiff.
All right.
All right. So we are going to put ZipperTiff up against the wheel. The correct answer was 8. We had 8 geocaching individuals or teams earn 70 points.
Excellent. All right. Are we
Spin that
ready?
wheel. Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Round and round. Let's give it an easy one. Easy one.
Oh, what did it do? Which one is that? I can't even tell.
I don't know which one it is. I think this is a 5-star because it's 5 times the 81er matrix.
Okay, let's click on that and see if that's the 5-star difficulty.
5 times 50.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
So yes, it is. It's a 5-star difficulty. This one comes from Germany.
All right.
My German
in
is
English?
not so good. Yes. Where's my translate button? I don't have that handy. So let's just go to the checker. The nice thing is, and this has got an interesting set of checks. Oops, not logged in. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't log in before I did this. Come on. All right. And now I've got to go over and get ZipperTiff.
I'm curious what makes it 5 times. Is that just saying like complete a fizzy 5 times?
I think it is. Any of you guys speak German?
Right click, translate.
Oh, come on. Technical difficulties tonight. I can't drive my computer.
That's all
There's
right.
ZipperTiff. Okay. ZipperTiff qualifies. And yes, you need 5 loops of the fizzy in order to qualify for this. And she has 10.
Awesome.
Well,
Congratulations,
well done,
ZipperTiff. Well done. Great. So we'll be in contact with you for your prize. Very cool. And now it's time for our monthly challengers segment of the show. Every month we give a congratulatory shout out to listeners who email us proof of qualifying and logging a challenge cache since the last show. Anyone who sends an email to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com with the GC code, having a found it log, and including a photo if you'd like to share, for this past month will be entered for the prize giveaway for a Challenge Talk path tag. So here are a few of the interesting challenges we heard about from our listeners. So BnJBish, you guys sent us a challenge cache in, so we'd like to hear about your experience. So this was called, this is GC24DA6, the Mississippi Well-Rounded Cacher Fizzy Challenge. And it's more than a fizzy, right?
It's like a fizzy on steroids. It's not just having your DT grid of 81. It's having that, having at least 10 different cache types included in that, having all different cache sizes included in that, and having at least one find from each year that geocaching has been around. So that's when we found it, 23 years. So kind of like a micro Jasmer type thing along with it.
Along with the fizzy. So it
Along
is like,
with the fizzy.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a 5-5 cache and happened to be on our trek from Orlando to Memphis, where we connected the two by counties on the way, right off of Ole Miss campus in Oxford. And the find itself was about a 2.5, not real far walk from the car, a little bit into the woods. But just having all of that be required was crazy. And the fact that we had it and now have our second 5-5 logged.
Very
I was
good.
a Swiss Army challenge because everything you could think to throw on this page, it's there. It's all there.
So
Right.
good thing
I was
Brad's
scrolling
organized
through it a
then.
little bit, and this looks like a fun one. I'm going to have to mark this one down for later.
Just to read it. Reading it
Yeah.
was a challenge.
Right, and wrapping your head around the challenge. Well, good. Well, congratulations on meeting that really complicated challenge.
Thanks.
All right, our next submission is from C. Newman 98. This is GC9VHZR, the Emerald Large Cacher Challenge of Rockford. And your challenge is to find 120 large caches. And it's Emerald because isn't that the badge on Project GC? Emerald badges to have found 120 large caches. And she said it took me a 15-foot ladder and a 4-foot grabber to reach the cache.
Oh my.
So the challenge was a challenge in the end to find, to get in hand.
Cool. And the next one was sent in by Bloody Cool, and he and I talked about this one. This was one of the CacheFest challenges, and it came out of my list, which was I think I've said it before. This is probably one of my most fun challenges that I've ever done, in that it is a 365 but non-traditional calendar. And so you can only use 40 traditional caches to make up your 365. And then you have to have a certain number of other caches, including a mega, including Cedos, including multis and letterboxes and earth caches, and you fill up your calendar for this one. So the Bloody Cool qualified, and I think he was the first to find on this one.
Oh, cool. That's great. Yeah, this is
He
the
was
one where I
first
went
to
in
find on
and
a bunch.
filled in my Google Calendar, and I think it'll take me a few years to get here on this one. But I signed the log. All right. And what do we have next?
GC8M. This is another one submitted by Bloody Cool. This is the OCCT number 19. I didn't look at this ahead of time to see this is probably a challenge trail. The Tri-State 525, 625 mystery. To meet the requirements of the challenge, you must have found 5 mystery caches in one state, 25 in a second state, and 625 in a third state. Yes, it's 5 caches, 5 squared caches, and 25 squared caches. Is it easy? Maybe.
It's just a lot of mystery caches in different places. So it depends on who you are.
Yep. So this is the Odin Cooperative Challenge.
Yeah. We have one from Dune Buddy, GC70P11, 5 Earth Cache and 5 County Traveler Challenge. So this is to travel to 5 different countries and get at least 1 Earth Cache in each country. And he noted that he completed a series of challenge caches based on finding a number of cache types in several states or counties. So that's pretty cool. I always like a good travel-based challenge to mark off travel-based accomplishments. I'm all about travel, of course. So great.
Yeah, traveling is fun. And QQ Non-Rev sent this one in, which was an interesting one. 100 caches that have 100 favorite points. Mm-hmm. And this is another one that came out of CacheFest. So not a challenging challenge, but you've got to find 100 caches that have 100 points on each one.
Yeah, so if you're going to typical well-loved locales, you probably will achieve this easily, but you never know.
Right. And the nice thing about this one is you can find one that's like 75 favorite points. And then as it accumulates, then when you do the check, that if it's over 100, it qualifies for
That's right. This one might grow right under your feet without you even trying. And they said they were quite surprised that they qualified for this one. So that's fun.
Yeah. And in the checkers, it looks like 108 people qualified and only 14 haven't so far.
Oh, so yeah, lots of people
not a tough challenge.
Yeah.
So, and as I mentioned earlier, I got to meet Jim Starcasher, and he sent this one in. This is one of the EGG challenges. This is one of the new ones that were put out around the Midwest GeoBash area. And this one is to find 25 letterbox caches. That's not the hard part, but you also have to have the attribute may require waiting. So it adds a degree of difficulty to the challenge.
Yeah, that's fun. All right. This was a fun one. I just thought this had a lot of historical value, if you will, if you love that kind of stuff. SimsQuest sent in GC9MR78, Maryland's Geo Beginnings Challenge, and find 25 of the oldest 30 active geocaches in Maryland. So I know that appeals to a lot of people, and congratulations on achieving that challenge.
All right, got distracted.
No problem.
And Acorn Mama sent this one in. She was in the chat room talking about Midwest GeoBash, that we should do a challenge talk, and I agree. So this is the Disemboweled challenge up in Ontario, Canada.
Sounded great, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta say this one carefully. GC5 Kilo Victor X-ray. And in this challenge, you have to find 50 caches that do not have an English vowel in the title.
Mm-hmm.
Y is not considered a vowel for the challenge. So I wanted to see about that because it's A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y, but in this case, no.
So giving you a little bit of a break. Yeah. And she noted that this month she got to sign all sorts of challenges thanks to a vacation in the Midwest GeoBash. One of them was the NASCAR challenge that's been featured a few times on our show.
Yeah, I think that one's up on the wheel too. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then finally, we have this one submitted by ZipperTiff, GC4PA0K, from Sea to Mountain Majesty Challenge. Find a cache in each of the 500-foot altitude designations from sea level up to 6,000 feet. So for a total of 12 different caches. So this one isn't as strict as like right on the dot. It's in like a range, so the 0 to 500 range and so on. So that's fun. I noted that I had this one on my map as a solved coordinate or altered coordinates to note to myself that I already met this challenge, but we'll see what someday if I get out there in Washington to sign the log.
When you can make it up there finally.
It's so far.
So that's great. Definitely thank you to everyone who submitted the challenges so that we can bring them up on the screen. Some of the other folks.
Well, we did talk about all of these. We were
I think
able
we
to get
did.
through.
Yeah, you have a list of people that submitted that. We talked about everybody.
Yeah, we got to mention all of them. So thank you everyone for submitting those. So remember to enter for next month. Send in your email before next month's show. And congratulations to this month's winner, Sims Quest. Oh, I hope she's excited. She's been waiting every month, sending it in, hoping, crossing her fingers to win, and it's finally her month. So congratulations. All right. So, Tim, any closing thoughts?
Sure. And this one came from CacheFest as well, CacheFest 23. It was brought up to us that maybe we should articulate, designate, identify, challenge power trails. And I know, for instance, that there is the Longhorn Challenge down in Texas that is 250 odd challenges along. It's a geo art in a Longhorn steel. I know that one. The new one that just came out in Ohio. So we'd like to talk about power trails, challenge art, wherever it might be. So if you know of something, please send it in. And so that we can talk about it and put a list together, and then we'll put it in the show notes. So we will have a place for people to go that are looking for a longer term challenge. So we've got that coming up next month. So send it in so we actually have a show. Right now, with only a couple of trails, we were not going to have much of a show.
Yeah, we've been trying to collect them from your submissions. You know, we can tell when you guys have found one from a trail, but yeah, we'd love to actually hear for certain about trails that you know of. Yeah, so we're excited about that. So our next show is the first Sunday of September, the 3rd. And remember, for this show notes will be posted shortly after the show airs in our YouTube video description, as well as should be linked in your podcast player. And
I'm gonna segue from our reminders here for a minute. The definition of power trail.
Okay.
We don't have one, so whatever you think is a power trail, send it in.
Sure. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be.
Whether it's one.
Yeah.
You know, a power trail is definitely more than one, but you define what a power trail is. Send it in. We'll talk about it and make that happen.
Yeah.
Also, CacheFest Oklahoma is accepting will attends now. It's up,
and it officially went mega.
Sent it up.
Yeah.
So GCAB90Z. So log your will attend. Get ready to go for next year.
Yeah.
And then we definitely want to thank everybody for watching, listening live, watching live. Though also those that catch up later on YouTube or all of your fancy podcasting players. We greatly appreciate it. And although it was a little disappointing, this month's quote comes from someone from the U.S. women's soccer team, the national team. You may or may not know Mia Hamm. one of the founders, I guess, of the great legacy of women's soccer. She said, "There are always new, grander challenges to confront. The true winner will embrace each one." So remember, it's not about the challenge. It's not about numbers. It's about the challenge.
Challenge accepted. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Thank you, BnJBish. Thank you, the Geocaching Ninja. We really appreciated your involvement and your words tonight and your time with us.
Right. And hang out before you leave us. We're going to close the show, and then we will be right back with our guests. And for those of you else, we'll see you next month.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.